don't tell them where we're going. Like I said, a lot of this is just
No, I get it. I just, like I
download
said,
stuff that we don't tell people because what we don't want to do is attract attention. We don't want the media.
Yeah.
Like we don't even know where we're going when they tell us.
yeah, obviously.
I get the whole secrecy and all this, but this is even above my thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean?
And why? You know why?
You know why?
Yeah, I know, but why?
Look who's in office.
Yeah.
That's why. Come on.
No, but what's the big secret? Everybody knows it's happening.
You know why? Because if it gets out, the government's betraying the American people.
Congressman, thank you so much for joining me today. We just saw that video out of Westchester, New York. First and foremost, what are your thoughts on what we learned just from that small clip?
Well, I'm glad the American people are able to see what I've been getting a glimpse of now for a number of months, really actually the last year and plus of what this administration now has been doing, talking to people on the ground, on the front lines, on the border. They know, but you know, you have to go work to try to get footage. You have to try to work to get the truth. You go out, you go to camera, you tell people are being released. You tell them when you go to the border that they do a dog and pony show and that they suddenly vanish all the people. They get them all distributed. If a member of Congress or a senator or a governor is going down there, they don't want you to see all of the masses that are, you know, aggregating under the bridge or wherever they're detaining them. Give you a good example. I actually just drove right through the lines. I just busted right by them so I could go down there. I didn't give them a heads up I was going. And the place was packed. And I get down there and I'm recording and I'm driving around, place I've been to before down in McAllen. And man, you want to tell you, they came out and said, wait, how did you get here? You're not supposed to be down here, Congressman. You need to check in with government affairs. They don't want the truth to get out. I'm glad these videos are getting out, but it's a sad state of affairs. The American people are being betrayed. Our American communities are being endangered with fentanyl, with drugs, people on the terror watch list, people that we don't know their backgrounds, what crimes that they've committed in other countries. You know, we fingerprint them, but that only checks against American databases for the most part. So it's a complete travesty, but this is the truth. You've got an administration failing to faithfully execute the laws of the United States. It's purposeful. They want it to happen, and they don't care that they're violating their oath to the Constitution.
And I thought it was super interesting in this video how he talks about they didn't want any attention on them. They didn't want the media finding out about this. As we heard, you know, the alleged government contractor is talking about how it does get out. You know, it's just showing that the government is betraying the American people. This video, as I mentioned, was in Westchester, New York, very far from the southern border, obviously. How widespread is this issue? How widespread are these flights going into, you know, counties and towns throughout the U.S.?
Yeah, well, we don't really know for sure, in part because Democrats they're not interested in having hearings to expose all this. I mean, you heard, you know, that fellow right there saying they want to keep it quiet. They want to keep it on the down low. The fact is, I'm glad that a plane landed in Westchester, New York. Let's let some of those Tony suburban New Yorkers, you know, wake up out of their mansions and go, wait, what the hell? What's going on? Why are people getting flown into Westchester? Because you know what? Welcome to Texas. We're dealing with this every damn day. Every day. You go talk to the people in Laredo, down in Webb County, like Senator Cruz and I did in September, like I do every time I go to the border. I'll be returning to the border in a couple of weeks. The district I represent is about 100 miles from the border. So I don't know how many flights there are. We can't know because the administration is lying, hiding, obfuscating, because they know the American people don't want this. They know the American people would oppose wide open borders, empowering cartels, empowering China, endangering immigrants, endangering Americans, allowing criminals to come to the United States, risking terrorists coming to the United States, all in the false name of compassion, while little girls get exploited in the sex trafficking trade and Democrats pat themselves on the back for being compassionate. It's bull.
Yes, and also Rob Astorino, who actually got this footage originally through the Freedom of Information Act. He's running for governor in New York. And something that he said during a recent interview with Fox, just talking to the extent of the problem in Westchester, New York specifically, he said that hundreds of unaccompanied children and adult males were getting off these planes. What happens then? Like, are we able to track them? Are we able to, ensure that they show up for their court dates? Like, are they just gone essentially at that point?
Look, for the most part, they're just gone. I mean, yes, some will show up, a few will show up to some dates, some will get tracked down somewhere, but you're creating such an enormous number of people. It's done purposely to overwhelm the system. And like I said, welcome to the party out there. I'm God bless, I'm glad he got this FOIA, and I'm glad people are seeing it. But you know what? We've been saying for months that they were releasing hundreds of thousands of people. We knew it. The data's right there. Border Patrol, when we talked to them on the border, they're like, look, these people are going somewhere, right? We had about 600,000 people released. When you just do the math of where these people went, at least 600,000 released last year, 400,000 at least gotaways. These are, I think, conservative estimates that were just distributed into the United States. We don't know exactly where. They're sent to buses, NGOs, Catholic Charities. Hell, we know Catholic Charities had a hotel down there filled with COVID positive individuals, and they were trying to hide that, right? I mean, this is the reality of what's going on at the border, and it's purposeful. Now, I hope we track down more of this and can find out where everybody's going. We're going to have to step up enforcement. But I just got one message to my Republican colleagues. Why are you voting to fund this garbage? That's what I want to know, right? Why are we going to vote in 22 days when we come back and the continuing resolution expires? Why would we vote to fund vaccine mandates? Why would we vote to fund DHS to not secure our border? Yet a bunch of Republicans will go in there and hand-wring and say, can't shut down the government. But we're going to keep allowing the Biden administration to literally allow an invasion of our country with people we have no idea their background pouring into the United States.
And also too, just to further your point about people just coming into the country, Jenny Terra, one of our reporters, investigative reporters here at the Daily Caller News Foundation, she reported on the fact that these illegal migrants are able to use arrest warrants as identification to get on planes and to travel through the interior of the country. Do you have any status update in terms of like what's being done to sort of address that issue, which is different than this issue that we're talking about?
Yeah, nothing is being done. Nothing. Because Republicans are going to sit on their hands. They're going to go give a speech or two saying we need to do something about the border. And then they're not going to fight with the tools they have. Defund these idiots who are refusing to secure the border. Impeach Mayorkas. What we should be impeaching Secretary Mayorkas for failing to faithfully execute the laws of the United States, purposely endangering the American people. And I'm going to hear Republicans going, well, it's not a high crime and misdemeanor. Bull. How can there be a higher crime or misdemeanor than literally refusing to do your job to secure the border of the United States in a way that results in the death of Americans? That is fundamentally the reason we have impeachment, so that the Congress can say, wait a minute, you're not upholding your oath. You are not doing what you were hired to do. And in fact, you're endangering this country. That is clearly, in my view, an impeachable offense. So let's impeach Mayorkas. And I know they'll say, well, look, Speaker Pelosi won't do it. Well, I'll tell you what, I'd like to have 212 Republicans all lined up, ready to go, and then stare down and go look at 5 or 6 or 10 or 20 so-called moderate Democrats and dare them. Why aren't you going to do it? Do you like open borders? Why did I introduce a Title 42 resolution last spring to discharge Title 42 to stop people at our border during a pandemic? And there are still 17 Republicans who haven't signed that discharge petition. Go look up who they are and go ask them. Why haven't they signed it? I'll tell you why. They don't want the discharge petition to be used against them when they're in the majority. Guess what? I'll use it.
And one last thing, you talked there about, Secretary Mayorkas not doing his job for securing the border. Vice President Kamala Harris is also continuously under fire for not addressing the root causes of the border crisis. Just this week, she was in Honduras visiting the newly elected president there. And something that I thought she was interesting, and I want to get something that I thought was interesting that she said that I want to get your thoughts on is she said, quote, "The root causes strategy has always been clear, and we have been clear. The work we need to do is going to be work that will manifest over a long period of time, hopefully not too long, but certainly not overnight." Do you have a message to the vice president over or about the handling of the root causes of the border crisis?
Yeah, the vice president of the United States is an incompetent buffoon who has no business being in that office or in any way touching the border security of the United States. Talking about root causes, give me a break. This is the same leftist thinking that literally in Montgomery County is opening up equity hubs for their kids who are now taking school by Zoom, right? That's the logic of these fools. But they're literally saying, oh, we're going to go talk to the people of Honduras. We're going to go address root causes. Look, you want to talk about root causes? Let's have a strong Western Hemisphere economy. I can agree with anybody on that, to push back on China and create the pressure, to stop the pressure valve of people coming to the United States. But the first thing you have to do when people are violating your laws is stop them. That's what you have to do. Knock the knees out from under the cartels, enforce our laws at the border, stop allowing asylum to be an excuse for people to run across our border, bum rush and come in, and then go talk to those countries and say, knock it off, establish the rule of law, stop allowing cartels to run amok, stop appeasing China, and recognize the United States is in your backyard, and we're going to make sure the Western Hemisphere is strong. But don't go down there and talk about root causes and give me this nonsense. It's like a parent sitting at the restaurant while their kids are running around screaming, and they go, oh, well, I just want to give them freedom and try to make sure we'll talk about the long term. Give me a break. Stop it. And they're not doing it.
Yes, I can't even imagine what the next 3 years are going to look like. I mean, we're only 1 year into President Biden's administration, and last year alone, just in 2021, 2 million border encounters. That's not even the people who got away. What happens to the country if this isn't, taken care of, if this doesn't get under control?
My message is simple. It's to states and it's to Republicans. You don't have 3 years to run around worrying about taking back the House and getting back in power, okay? You need to act right now. You need to stop funding this garbage. We need to take our country back, not take the House back. We need to take our country back. And for all the states out there, looking at Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, California, Florida, every other state in the union, you're going to have to act, okay? You're going to have to recognize that there's an invasion going on, and under the Constitution, when the federal government is refusing to do its job to secure the border and to protect you, that you can and should step up to protect your own state and communities. We're going to have to do that. We can't wait 3 years. So I'm going to do everything I can in Congress, try to impeach Mayorkas, try to press for Title 42, return to Mexico, every tool we can get, expose them, try to defund them. But I got to have a majority, and I got to have a willing leader in the Senate and the House to advance that agenda. And meanwhile, states need to take the bull by the horns and remember this is their country, and they're going to have to save it, because we're going to lose this country if we allow this to happen for 3 more years.